Good morning, I'm Amy Allen. I'm the founder of Senploy.co.uk, and I'm really excited to be doing a series of interviews with the specialist education recruiters Prospero Teaching. And this morning, first of all, we have Mike. So Mike, do you want to introduce yourself and what you do at Prospero?
Yeah, I can do it. My name's Mike. I'm one of the managers over at Prospero. I predominantly look after secondary and special needs. I've been doing education recruitment for coming up to 14, 15 years now. So I've seen a lot of changes in the market. I've seen how schools change their attitude towards using specialist support staff. And I'm obviously here to talk about what we're really looking for in terms of staff and how Senploy can hopefully help us.
Absolutely. So you know what you're doing with all that experience, but there are a lot of recruitment companies out there who deal with specialist education. So why should candidates come to Prospero?
There's so many reasons why candidates should look at agencies. Firstly, with ourselves, we've got in our team probably approaching 100 years worth of experience, which combined is massive. Again, we've seen so many changes in the marketplace, everything from government changes to legislation changes. It's also our attitude as to how we speak to our candidates, because without our candidates, we're nothing. Yeah. So we prefer speaking to people on the phone. Pick us up, pick the phone up to us, ring us, talk to us. Don't worry about anything. Don't send a massive long email and then take a big deep breath. Pick the phone up. We've all worked in schools as well. I'm a martial arts coach. I'm a cricket coach. I'm a boxing coach. I've worked with the young people that you'll be working with. So we've been there. We've seen it. We've all had a bad day in a school and thought, oh, wow. We've all had a brilliant day in a school and thought, yeah, that's why I go to work. Don't be afraid. We're here to help you. And we also know that we pay exceptionally well and we reward our staff. So we're not talking about, paying £2 or £3 a day more because you're traveling, a little bit further than you want. We pay the best because we want to attract the best.
I think that's really, really important. And can you tell the people who are looking at this video what the benefits are of working in this sector specifically? So why would people want to work in SEN, SEND?
So when we speak to candidates who want to work in SEN, they have to do it for the reward. I personally would rather work with my little access group who I coached at cricket last year, who have their challenges, than some of our gifted and talented youngsters. When I was coaching in schools, I preferred working with the young people who didn't want to be there, because you get that much more back. It's rewarding, it's enjoyable. And when you're working in a school, you find out a lot more about yourself and how you realize patterns of your behavior as to why you were like something in school and why Mr. Jones used to hate you. And you think, oh yeah, I actually understand that now. It's about seeing the best in every pupil.
Yeah.
And, we get so many people that come to us I want to go and do my teacher training. Oh, I'll go and volunteer. Schools actually look more at your attitude and your mindset now and your personality rather than a piece of paper. And we get to know our people better than everyone else.
Okay. I think that brings me quite nicely onto the question of what personal qualities are important to work in special education.
Definitely patience. Resilience as well. You've got to be thick-skinned. Yeah. Whether you're working with SEMH, which the young people are going to be challenging because they've got so much stuff going on at home. They've got so much stuff going on internally. Sometimes they may be a little bit of a ticking time bomb. Okay. And I think you just need that patience and that understanding to think it's not aimed at me.
Yeah.
It could have been an altercation outside of school. It could have been mum or dad or grandma, granddad having a go at them because they've not had the breakfast, they've not done homework. It's just being confident in your own abilities to look at a young person that you think might be about to have a bit of a moment and say, no, come on, let's go and have a cup of tea. Talk to me. What's wrong?
And you can really change. Yeah, and you can really change the way that person's day actually ends up, can't you, by the influence that you have and how you react to situations.
I remember a head teacher I worked for as a coach. He basically said to me, I will never, ever, ever penalise or pull up a member of staff if I see him chatting to my young people, having a drink, just having 2 minutes, checking in on. Yeah. And it's quite nice when you're a head teacher say that.
Yeah.
And a lot of our head teachers will still sit down with a young person in the morning and just a cup of tea, cup of coffee. Did you see the football last night? Anything like that, because it's about having the ability to build relationships with young people that feel on their own.
Yeah,
and I think
absolutely.
that's the key thing.
Okay,
Not to let
so
people alone.
okay, so with that, what type of jobs are you recruiting for at the moment, Mike?
Within SEN, we're always recruiting for people with that patience who can provide support, and support's very broad, very all-encompassing. What I would be mindful of saying to people is just be careful when you apply for a teaching assistant job. Make sure you're aware what the needs of the young people are, because some of our schools have young people with very, very complex needs, and they may find themselves limited by mobility or how they can feed themselves. Those staff, even though they may be more carers, may still be called a teaching assistant. Generally, what we're looking for is young people with people who've got a positive attitude towards working with young people who need that extra, whether it is mobility, whether it is mental health needs, whether it is behaviour. And if you've got a positive mental attitude yourself, patience and resilience, it doesn't matter what your background is or what your qualifications are, there is a home for you in a school, and there are young people that you can help.
So are you saying that you would recruit individuals that don't have any experience then, Mike?
Absolutely. Again, because of the experience levels we've got relationships with head teachers, HR managers who will listen to us when they ring us and say, Mike, we need someone who can do this. When we say, well, we've got this person who's done this, this, and this, they will listen to us. And if we can convince that school that our person has got the right mentality and personality and patience to support that young person, they'll take them. Everyone gets a chance with ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think any skill can be learned, but it's your intrinsic personality that needs to shine through in this type of role.
Massively.
So job title wise, what should people be looking out for on Senploy?
Anything from learning mentor to academic support, behavioural support. Sometimes we may call them educational care assistants. The clue is all our adverts will have a little blurb at the top that will tell you about the school, what the young people really need, and what skills you may need, or what personality you may need to work with and be effective in that environment.
Okay, and can you tell people what the process is, Mike, to apply for a position?
You would be applying through Senploy. We'd obviously then get your details. We'd arrange a telephone interview. We'd then do a registration interview. We'd answer any questions you had. Once you were registered, you'd get access to all our CPD, and we would obviously fully prepare you for whatever job role you were going into. The only time it would cost you anything is if you had to do a new DBS, which we can do for you. But we would also be on hand all the way through the time you're working for us as well.
Okay. And do candidates have to pay you to find them a job?
Not at all.
I think there could be a myth out there about people, the candidates do have to pay recruitment companies. So that's really, really good to dispel that myth.
No, it's complete. The only time we would ask for money off you is if you needed to do a new DBS check.
Okay, and what's the cost of that, Mike?
New DBS costs £45.80, but there is still a myth somewhere around that everyone has to have a different DBS for a different agency. There is a process and a service called the online update service. That costs a further £13 a year. But once you've got your new certificate and you register to the update service, you will only then pay £13 a year to keep your vetting live.
So it's like an essential piece of your toolkit. You can't become a teaching assistant or anyone working in this sector without your DBS. So it is very much essential to have this.
Massively. No school will accept you without a DBS.
Okay. We have quite a few jobs on Senploy that are temporary to permanent. Do they always turn perm? What are the options available to individuals with the type of contracts that are available?
There's so many options. And again, that's the beauty of working for an agency. You may choose to do what we call day-to-day work, which could fit in around further studies. For instance, you may be studying your undergraduate and you may have a couple of days a week free. And you think, I've always fancied working in schools. I'm thinking of doing a teacher training. We could keep you busy on what we call day-to-day work, which is very ad hoc, and it fits in with your diary. If you wanted something more longer term, which we class as anything over 4 weeks long, we can also put you into bookings like that. With regards to temp to perm, we have agreements with a lot of our schools that after a certain amount of period of working for us, they can transfer you as a member of staff to their payroll. It may not work for you though, so please don't feel forced into it. Don't be afraid of saying to a school, I'm going to do my teacher training in September, because they may say, well, we'll keep you on agency. While you are working for ourselves, you do get paid weekly. We do get permanent working as well, which obviously is much more of a lengthy process where you go to interviews with the school, but we can accommodate everyone's diary. We've got some people that work 1 day a week and some people that are still upset when they're working 5 days a week and they pick up extra shifts. A lot of our recent graduates have still got the retail jobs they had in university. But what I would say to anyone brand new trying education is don't be afraid of dropping your other job down to 8 hours or the minimum contract and just seeing how you get on with us. You may realise it's not for you. And then you can pick up your other job. There's no ill feeling. We're not going to twist your arm into staying to a job. We completely understand, because a lot of people try education before going on to further studies.
That's really helpful, Mike. So if there is anyone out there that does want to consider a career in education, pick up the phone, speak to Mike, apply through Senploy, and hopefully you'll be on the road to your new career. Thanks very much, Mike, and I wish you a really great day.
Thanks, Amy. You too.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.